Hello, everybody. Happy Monday. It is sunny, it is beautiful here, and I hope it is wherever you are as well. For anybody new here or stumbles upon this that is not a part of my world already, hello, I am Megan Holly. I am a branding photographer and confidence coach, and I just wanted to come on. I felt inspired to talk about something that was on my heart. Hi, Dee Dee. I actually have your email up to pop on your schedule and get on there so we could chat and connect. And I'm super excited about it. But I felt called to come on here today. For anybody who's been in my world in the last couple of months, you may have seen me talking about something that I was a part of, and talking about how kind of soul stretching it was and the things that, were coming up and what I was feeling throughout it, right? And my mission is to be more and more and more and more active and open about like all the sides of everything, right? Life, business, all of it. And I already talk a lot about my anxiety that I have just for my whole life, that I've been uphill, downhill, all around the hills with. And, I really think it's important for us to be open about all the parts of life. And so this weekend I was a part of a show where I stood on stage in front of the biggest crowd I've ever stood in front of, and spoke about my journey with anxiety and the hardships of it, but then the parts that I have overcome and the places that I went within this journey. And so I wanted to come on and talk about a couple of things. I titled this Getting to the Other Side because so many times we have things in life, right? It may not be getting on a stage in front of a ton of people for you, but it could be anything that you deem as feeling like, I can't do that. I don't know how to do that. I can't do that anymore, right? There's so many different ways that we can look at this, or it could be occurring within ourselves, right? And so I wanted to come talk about some of the things that helped me to get to the other side of this big, scary, audacious thing for me. Last year, I had, I tried to keep a three bullet point, if you will, currently manifesting list that's always kind of in my view, so that I'm just showing up in my day, kind of keeping it fresh in my mind. I am making sure that I'm making choices and things that are kind of moving myself in that direction, because you can't just say, I'm trying to make this come into fruition and then just leave it and hope for the best, right? We have to make steps and take action. There's action and mindset have to come together. And so it said on there, speak on a stage in front of 250 people. Well, I exceeded that. And here's the thing. I wanted it. I felt called to do it, but then I was like, oh no, I can't do this. Physically on stage, there was a couple of moments where I thought, I think I'm just going to get up and run away, right? The anxiety was bubbling up. The things that just the inner demons that we all have just started saying, you can't do this. Who are you to do this? How are you going to open your mouth and say these vulnerable things? What if you do something wrong? What if you, whatever, right? All these things. And so here's what I did to get to the other side of the want turned into a, here it is, right? The desire turned into, you're doing it, but now I got to get to the other side of it. So a couple of things. One, and this can go for anything that you are doing in life, in business, that is stretching you, feeling like it's tearing you apart, whatever it is, right? One, I was clear on the fact that this is something that I am called to do. Even in the times where I thought, you know what, I'm gonna bow out gracefully. I'm gonna see if I can just not do this. Like weeks before, 2 days before, during, right? I was clear that it was still absolutely something I wanted to do. And when those moments, when the hard moments, when the bad thoughts, when the kind of feeling of negativity was creeping in, I shut it down and I said, this is something I'm called to do. I wrote it down on paper. I've been thinking about it. I've been dreaming about it. People around me have supported me in knowing that it's something that I'm called to do. So I was clear. And the more clear that I stayed and the more conscious I was about the absolute possibility that things are going to come in the way to make it harder to do or walk away from, I just kept moving forward, right? I kept moving forward and changing what I was thinking. So number two, that kind of segues into number two, was I thought differently about it. So I have been on stages in the past in a multitude of different ways. The majority of it has been as a dancer or as a director of a dance program, welcoming people to a show, sometimes doing a teacher dance, things like that. So that was kind of my safe zone of being on stage. Now, I didn't always feel safe within that. It was still very nerve-wracking to me. So I want to be very clear about that. So this was a new way, right? Talking about my own story, about loss, about hardship, about, right? All the things. It's very vulnerable. And so in the past, it would be a spiral of thinking all the things, catastrophically thinking about what could go wrong, envisioning scary things happening when you're doing the thing, right? Thinking about what people might say, do, blah, 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 to you, about you, da-da-da, all that stuff. Those were the things that would consume my mind so often back in the day, right? And what I've done recently in kind of the smaller capacities of doing like workshops and things like that, and then leading into this bigger one, the biggest yet, right? I've changed that. When it would happen, because it's naturally going to happen, I changed it. If it started coming in like, well, what if you trip up over your words? What if you forget everything? Which I had notes like on my stand. So, right, there's all these things, right? I would shift it. I'm worried about that happening because I care so much, but here's the thing that proves it wrong. I've prepared. I've become ready. I'm doing things to help my mind, body, spirit, and soul feel good, right? And it wasn't easy always. There was times, like I said, where I was like, I just think maybe I need to make a phone call and walk away from this whole experience, you know, when I'm like 3 weeks out from doing it and I've committed to doing it, right? I had to really powerfully say to myself, how do you actually want to feel about this? How can you feel about this if you allow yourself to? So in the past, it would be a spiral of you're going to naturally feel the anxieties of choices and things and situations come up in your body. You're going to feel the pitter patter of your heart, or maybe the tightness of your chest, or the nervous tummy, or sometimes all of them at the same time. The negative thoughts, it's going to happen because it's kind of keeping us safe. Like our bodies are trying to keep us safe, and it's trying to like be like, hey, have you thought of these things? And it's not always very helpful. Sometimes it can be helpful in going, oh yeah, I never thought of it. Maybe I need to prepare for this, that, or the other. But that's in small doses. When it gets to be out of control is when it becomes a problem, and when we may stop ourselves from doing things that are what we want to do, what we desire to do, what we get to do, things that will forward move us into a beautiful place that we never thought we would be in, right? And so it was very important to me, even more so than, right, anything else. It was very important to me to listen to myself and then to redirect the emotions and the feeling, the physical symptoms that were coming up from all of it, the stress, the worry, all of it. And it was really cool to start seeing, like, when people would say, how are you feeling? I would say, well, the human side of me is feeling nervous. I have some anxieties. I'm feeling like sometimes my stomach just like does a flip when I think of it. I'm getting a little shaky, whatever. But then I would say that, allow that to be in existence, which I think is very important, to not just pretend like we're superhumans, right? That we don't feel anything negative or hard. Acknowledge that that's how I was feeling, but then say, but this is the thing. It's happening because I'm excited, because I am preparing, right? And just having those shifts made it so much more fun and easy to move through. When I felt the energy come through me, instead of just sitting there and feeling it and like letting it just like take over my body, I would move, right? Like I might be talking to somebody like backstage, for instance, and I would just be like, and we all were doing that, right? We all had our own ways of doing things. Some things we were doing at the same time. But it was like moving the body, taking like a little bit of a breath, leaving the room and walking by myself for a second. So what can you do in whatever it is for you? Maybe it's a life choice. Maybe it's a situation. Maybe it's a relationship hurdle. Maybe it's something you want to do differently in your business, right? What are the things that, like the physical symptoms that are coming up that are making it harder to move through, and how can you shift them? I was really intentional. Here's another thing. We tend to just, as humans, myself included, we tend to just slough through things because we just want to get to it, right? Like getting to the other side can be a choice in which you make versus just kind of like going through the motions. And I was hell bent on the week leading up to this being as intentional as possible. Now, did I do everything that I really thought would be helpful for me? No. Did I do a lot of it? Yes. Things like nourishing my body more. I had a reminder on my phone to drink water. So if maybe I went throughout my days last week not hydrating, I did, so that my brain cells could be nourished, my body could be nourished. I really made sure I had more water in my system. I tried as best I could to get more sleep. It's a little hard when you're feeling a little stressed and anxious, as we all know, but it was really helpful to do. I spent time moving my body because I knew that would help the anxiety of doing something big and hard and scary and whatever. And so that was really helpful. So what are the things that you can do to be helpful for yourself instead of hinderful? I don't know if hinderful is a word, but today it's going to be. And if you're in my world in any way, podcast, whatever, I make up my own words for just a moment. Guys, isn't this cute? Somebody gifted this to me that came to the show, and I'm obsessed with it. And it's like little, so it's perfect. It makes me go get water more often, which is helpful to move and get water and just feel so cute. But anyways, thanks, Dr. Jen. I love it. But I just need us all to remember that if we are finding little tiny ways to be more intentional, getting to the other side of anything can be that much more at ease, more powerful. Yeah. So if you're having you have some things that you need to like maybe put out into the world or talk to somebody about, and you just keep pushing it off because it's too scary, it's too hard, it's too whatever. What are some small things that you can do to move there, right? Like for me, it was like picking the intentionalities of what I'm going to do to feel so much more in control of the things that were freaking scaring me. And for me, it was being intentional last week of moving towards the scary thing. The flashing neon sign of like, this is something big. This feels very scary. You've never done something quite like this. What are you doing? Picking things to do that made me feel more intentional, more grounded, were absolutely the thing. So those couple of things were like the catalyst for me to get onto that stage and do that. So whatever your stage is, whatever it is for you today, this season, whatever, how can you start to change those thoughts? I can't do this. I can't do this. I can't do this. Keeps coming up. No. Hey, I can do this. I am scared about fulfilling it because answer the thing that feels really real to you, right? And is really real to you. And then shift it and say, but I have this, and this to back the fact that I am going to be able to do this. I absolutely will, can, and am going to do this. Yes? Because literally in my talk on Saturday, one of the lines I say is, I had a glimpse of the idea that on the other side of fear and worry is freedom and beauty. Now, I don't know that I would want to find out the person I would be if I didn't do and execute some of the scariest things I've ever done in my life. Some of them have been leaving relationships. Some of them have been making the choice to transfer to a college. Some of them have been moving. Some of them have been getting on a stage. Some of them have been... And I don't know that I'd want to find out the person I was if I didn't do it. Because I've found freedom and beauty through all of it. Through all of my struggles, through all of my anxieties, through loss, through all of it. What has gotten me to the other side, to the next version of myself, is just being like, F it. I'm going to do it. I don't know what it's going to feel like, seem like, be like, anything. but I'm going to do it. And here's the way that I'm going to do it. So these are my things, my call to you to say, what is it for you? And please feel free to share if you're on live or even in the comments afterwards, if there's something that you're really freaking proud of doing, saying yes to, saying no to, doing differently, having the conversation. You can share whatever you feel comfortable sharing, or even just putting an emoji that signifies that you've done something or multiple things that have scared the crap out of you, you know? Let me know in some way, shape, or form, and let's celebrate together, right? And hold on one moment, guys. Okay, sorry, I didn't want you to have to hear the crazy dog barking at I don't even know, another dog, I think. But anyways, I want to wrap this up so it doesn't get too long. Here's what I want you to do. I want you to go into this day, this week, this whenever you're watching this, and think to yourself, what have I already overcome? What have I already overcome that's huge? Maybe you don't see it as huge, but it is, right? It could be a small drop in the bucket, or it could be a huge wave or splash. What is it? Recognize it, honor it, give yourself the credit for it. Second thing, I want you to think about what's going on currently right now, or that's in the near future, and how you're thinking about it. What are you doing? How are you thinking? What's coming up within you, and how are you letting it affect you? Or are you taking control and letting it affect you in the way that is going to be best suited for you? Like I said, when I was feeling the anxiety, how can I shift it, move it, change the way that I'm saying things? I'm really anxious about this. Nope. I'm really excited about this, and I feel this way because I am wanting it to be a beautiful experience, right? And third, find ways to be more intentional in your choices surrounding not only the thing that is scaring you or that feels big or that feels stressful, but also just in your life of like, am I feeling like I'm intentional and doing things that are making me feel grounded and good in who I am? I hope this lands with somebody. I hope that it feels good for somebody. If anybody has any thoughts, musings, questions, please also feel free to share that. I am an open book. And so what this experience has taught me is that it's safe for me to be even more open and more open and more open, which is a beautiful thing. And I want that for all of us. After getting off the stage, it was humbling and wild to have people that I didn't even know come up to me and say, thank you for sharing your story. Thank you for sharing your struggles with anxiety. I have a so-and-so that is struggling with it, and I feel like I am not totally alone in understanding how to help better. I think I need to do X, Y, and Z to help me get to a better space within my anxiety. Things I would never have thought that would be helpful, right? Because it's just, you're in your own head about your own things and your own story and your own life that we know deep down. I know this to be true, which is why I said yes to this, right? That other people can be helped by others. I am constantly helped by other people's stories, whether they're on my podcast, whether it's I meet them in passing. I've met people on airplanes that have like changed me because of the stories that we have shared. It's a beautiful thing. And so to hear that you have the same power. I am not special. And my stories yesterday, I was saying thank you to everybody really that's in my life and community. And I said, this is not about me. It is not about me. The story that I was speaking on stage is my story, and it is me. That I cannot argue. But getting up there was not about me. It was about healing us all together. That's the purpose of what we were doing there. And sorry, getting a little dry over here. And the beautiful thing about what we were doing on stage that night was showing everybody that we all have way more things in common than we ever feel. We have many of different superpowers and different differences, but we have so much in common. And each person that was up there was doing something and talking about something that was personal to them, but it was also the masses, right? This collective human experience is a wild one. Growing our lives, growing our businesses, we all have very similar things that come up. And even in our differences, we can find commonality. And that's the beautiful thing about it. And so I want you to remember that, like, when you're looking at people that you admire, that it's because you see something within them that deep down is inside of you. And that we are all so very special, yes, but we also are all so intrinsically tied together, like just cosmic threads. As one of our other speakers said, a line that said something about cosmic threads, and it was just so beautiful and poignant. I feel like I just want to embody that. Just know that we are all doing this beautiful thing, this beautiful life. And it doesn't always feel so beautiful. And sometimes it feels really yucky. But we have the power to shift perspective, get assistance, find support, come to a new understanding for ourselves. And it will get us to the other side of every single thing. One of my favorite creators, Anna, she's out here in the Instagram world. She always says something to the effect of, you have 100% success rate of getting through all of your hardest days thus far. So what makes you think you won't be able to do the same moving forward? I'll leave you with that. And I just love you all so very much. If you ever need anything from me, if you just need a little ear to listen, I have some of the best conversations. I say this all the time, but I will never not say it, because in case somebody needs a reminder, I have some of the best conversations in my inbox here, and it makes my heart just feel so happy. I'm a safe space. I promise you that. I always say I am a safe space and a steel trap. So what comes into my ears and my heart stays there unless there is a reason for it to be shared. And that would only be with other people's doing that and sharing their own stories, because it's their stories to tell. So I'm a safe space. If you are looking for any support in your life with confidence coaching, with building your brand, feel free to reach out to me. I am always here. My link is in the bio that has my consultations, which are always free. And most people find that just those free consultations are something that they cherish and need so much in their lives and business. So plenty of ways to connect with me. Say hello. Don't be shy. I love hearing from you and seeing you. So have a beautiful day. Take a moment. Take a deep breath for yourself. Oh, and you know what? I usually pull a card randomly, and they just happen to be standing here. Ironically, I just moved this deck. My desk was getting cluttered, and I was like, I needed to take a moment to move stuff, and I moved it over here. So here it is. I'm going to pull a card here. These are my joy cards. So they're usually something about finding joy. Oh, this one is, really fitting, which does not surprise me. Everything is in alignment. Yesterday I was with my niece, a nephew, siblings, my mom, and my nephew and I, we were all kind of talking about something, and I was about to say something, and he was like, wait a second, are you about to say the same thing I'm about to say? And I was like, I don't know, what are you about to say? And then he said it, I was like, yes. And we both like jumped out of our chairs, and I'm like, synchronicities, you guys. When you are just brave enough to step into the things that feel a little bit scary and a little bit hard, like synchronicities will show, and they will say, hey, you are on the right track, right? So this is us today, you guys. This is for us. I remember that I'm worthy of joy. I remember that I'm worthy of joy. You are so worthy of finding joy, even in the hard parts of life, even in the stress of the situation, of the growth in your business, of whatever it is. You are worthy of joy. Find a moment of joy. Take a huge deep breath right now. If you have a moment when you jump off of this, take a couple extra moments for deep breaths, or stretching, or going outside for a moment. Something small, kind, and beautiful for yourself. Cheers, you guys, to a beautiful day, a beautiful season, a beautiful life, a beautiful business. It can be beautiful just as much as it will be hard. Love you guys.